Lady. That just totally ruins my what I was trying to do just now. I was trying to make it go live as we were talking about the intro,
Oh,
but it's taking
we're live
forever.
now. Hey, everybody.
Hey, everyone. Let's run the intro. I said, let's run the intro.
This is the College Football Dawgs podcast show with your hosts, Matt Redding and Dominic Crissetto, only on the Dawgs Media Network, presented by Dano Seasoning. Yum, yum, get you some. Spice up your tailgate at www.danoseasoning.com.
Fantastic. Oh, I gotta unmute your mic. You're muted, Matt.
What are we doing? What are we doing? I completely, I was going to start with, what is Auburn doing? Are we going to not score any touchdowns versus Texas A&M, but then dog walk the defending national champions? Total change of subject. What are we doing? What are we doing? I don't know what I'm doing.
We're trying.
I'm the funny guy, all right? I'm not the brains behind the organization. Jeez. Welcome inside, everybody, to the College Football Dawgs podcast show, week 5. I'm your host, Matt Redding, and with me, as always, the great Dominic Crissetto, also on the Sunbelt Syndicate. Dominic, my friend, how are you today?
I'm doing good, man. I'm in a better mood now that we got this thing up and running. We're having fun.
Yeah, that's right. We sure are. We've got a lot to talk about, and it's going to be good stuff. But first, a quick word from our friends over at the Farmer's Dog.
I'll always take care of you. Hey, little bear bear. You gonna be a good boy?
Don't worry, darling, about the rest of our
to have
lives.
from this day forward.
Through thick and thin,
Come on, bear.
I'll be there by your side.
I'm gonna love you forever.
Hey, bear.
Yeah. I'll be there. You don't have to worry.
So,
Sad
those familiar with the
commercial.
show, if you know the Big Sad commercial, then you know what that means. It's time for the mailbag. Sponsored by Farmer's Dog. I don't see any questions. So you know what, Dominic? I'm just going to shoot one over to you.
All right, yeah, let's do it, man. I'm ready.
So give me your top 5 game day foods.
Top 5. Ooh, that's good.
Like you're having a tailgate, you're going out there with all your friends, your dad, your family, your kids. I don't know. You're going out there. It's going to be a big party. You're in charge of the menu. What are you going to put together to blow everybody away? Get to be like, man, that Dominic fellow really knows how to do a good tailgate. Yes. What do you go to?
Hopefully my tailgate is more fun than food oriented because I am not
Right.
a grill master. My co-host on the Sunbelt Syndicate podcast, TJ Corman, is a great grill master. He runs his own kind of catering thing on the side. But I'm going to start with the easy thing first. Top 5, I'm going to say you got to have beer. And it doesn't even matter
Absolutely.
really what kind. You got to start with
Absolutely.
beer because you can make a meal out of it if you need be.
That's
So
right.
Definitely got to start with the beer. And then I'm pretty simplistic, honestly. I mean, chips and salsa or chips and dip of some sort, definitely just got to have, because you can eat that as you get whatever else fancy wise you're going to get ready.
Yep.
So those two there. I mean, again, I don't try and go all out myself. I'm not the guy who shows up at 5 or 6 in the morning. I got a 3-hour trek usually when I go to games, so I can't bring an elaborate setup. I don't have the time to do an elaborate setup. So I'm simplistic in the fact that, like, actually one of our staples for us that our family loves is sub sandwiches. Bring all the sides and toppings. Yeah.
There we go.
And the secret ingredient, you can have all the lettuce, tomato, all the fancy stuff you want. The secret ingredient is the right sauce to put on your hoagie, sub, whatever you're going to call it. If you got that sandwich up, Boar's Head makes a great one. Yeah.
Yes. I think I know what you're talking about. Okay,
yes,
I like that.
Really, really good. You know, it's like Blimpies used to have some like pink sauce that they'd put on their sandwich. That it's similar in that.
Right.
But other than that, I mean, like I said, I'm simplistic, man. Something quick, easy, everybody can agree on, like burgers and dogs, honestly. Burgers and dogs, and other people can get fancier.
See,
so those are my 5.
I got you. I'm more of a I've got like a science behind game day or tailgating foods, which is I just kind of assume when I go to a tailgate that I'm not gonna be able to sit down because we'll be doing plenty of sitting like once we're in the stadium, right? So I try to like come up with a plan that you can like stand around and eat food comfortably, right? So you don't need a lap or table or anything to eat it. So I try to pick like finger foods. Heavy agreement with you on the beer. I'm a simple guy. Just
I had no
Banquet.
doubts, Matt. I had no
doubts. I'm a simple guy, so give me Coors Banquet, and we'll just go from there. Fingery foods like hot wings. I think you can never go wrong with hot wings. Pizza, because that's another food you can just kind of stand there and just kind of eat.
True.
And also, you don't have to prepare it. You can just order it, and they'll bring it to you at the game, and you're just responsible for everything else.
And
I like the chips and dip. Yeah, that's true. I haven't done it for breakfast yet, but I've been told that's the way to go. So, George and Robert, welcome to the show. Someday. Folks, those of you that just hopped in, the question was best game day foods. So if y'all have any recommendations for your tailgate, just let us know in the chat. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I agree with you on chips and dip. I think you can't go wrong there. Again, standing up, I got the chip, the dip's right there in the middle, and then you just go right back to whatever you're doing. Pigs in a blanket, some form of like sausage.
Classic.
Like maybe if you didn't want the blanket, you could just do like wieners in a crock pot or whatever. I forgot what they're called.
I knew you'd like the wieners, man. I knew you'd.
Yeah. Anyways, folks, I'm now looking for a new co-host. Last one body bagged me, and I body bagged his career. So that was a good one. Man. Did you know there's actually a recipe for like the crock pot wieners where you put like grape jelly in it?
No, I've not heard this.
I've seen it all over the place, and I just do not get it because I want my wieners to taste like barbecue, if anything. Like, wouldn't that make them taste like grape? I don't know, but like I'm seeing people like, oh yeah, just put a little jar in there.
Is it so? Is it making it taste like grape, or is it one of those secret ingredients that adds this flavor and you don't know what it is and you're like, oh, it's amazing?
I'm too scared to find out. Like, why would you ruin a perfectly good batch of wieners with grapes? Anyways, for my last one, my fifth one, more beer. Anyways, there you go.
There you go. Top it all.
All right, Chris is now in the chat. Man, what did he say? I had a little birdie tell me that Dom said Nate Noel is better than any back at Auburn. Well, I didn't. I'm assuming that's Vandy's running back.
No, that's App State's running back.
Oh, I mean, is that fair? I was watching Auburn's running backs get absolutely destroyed. Well, that's
statistically speaking. I think he was number 1 in the nation. Now I believe he's number 2 in the nation. So yeah, statistically speaking, it's true. Now, could he do that at every down back at a school like Auburn? Probably not. I'm not hating on him. I love Nate Noel. But he's a small guy. He's a small statured guy. He's kind of like a Darren Sproles kind of build to him. Really quick feet, really fast acceleration.
Would you rather have like the smaller, skinnier, faster, do everything kind of running back? Would you rather have like a Derrick Henry, absolute bruiser? I'm running through that line, whether you like it or not, type running back.
Man, I'm a little old school, so I'm going to go with the Derrick Henry if I had to choose between two of them. I mean, Derrick Henry's not going to be catching a bunch of passes out of the backfield, so there's the downside, right? But
he improved that.
He did improve that. But
he got to the NFL and they're like, bro, you got to catch some passes. And he was like, fine. So it only took like 3 years. Interesting.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess I want the bigger guy because he's going to be able to take more abuse. That's my concern with Nate Noel too, is like he's been injured pretty much every season for at least some period of time. When he's healthy, he's great. You got a concern with that, with any, not just Nate, but any small running back. So
it'd be nice if we had an every down back. Auburn has 3, which means we have none. I don't know. We can't seem to pick one. Also, for those of you that are seeing me like mess with my headphones, I legit have a radio station or something in here. Like, I'm not joking. I can, like, let's see, hold on. I think they're playing Shakira. Like, I noticed it the other night. I plugged in my headphones when nothing else was going on. Like, I had none of my internet browser, nothing. Okay, I just plugged them in. Very tiny buzz of a radio station in the background. I can hear like, welcome to WKRN Radio. And I'm like, that's really spooky. But usually when I'm doing stuff, it goes away. So like I'm sitting here listening to you and then suddenly I hear like, oh, or whatever. And I'm like, oh God, they're here. So I haven't gone crazy yet, people, I promise.
Yeah.
Man, Chris, ask us a question, bro. It's the mailbag presented by Farmer's Dog. Like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, these are comments.
I know, right? This isn't the comment section, people. That's sponsored by the Farmer's Cat. So, Matt Short with the take of a lifetime. That's not what I was reading, Dom. How much have I had to drink? I've had water. I've had Coke. And, maybe when I get off air, I got a little something. But, answer for you, good sir, is none. I'm just really hyped.
No free ads, Matt. There was an empty bottle of some kind of beverage. That's it.
Yes.
That's all we can know.
This is
unless they want to pay us.
This is Beppis. It's not Coca-Cola at all.
It's RC Cola.
Did you?
All right.
Okay.
So get back to Matt's comment since you latched onto this one real quick. He's calling Kentucky victory.
Kentucky 34, Georgia 27. He is. I like that. Give me all the spicy takes. Which we're going to get to that like in a minute. So don't you go anywhere, Matt. I like that a lot. We could go ahead and break it down some, I guess, but which I don't want to give away too much because I know that's a hot topic later on. But I think there is definitely a shot there. The game's in Lexington, right?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's see.
Like, tell me Kentucky's got home field advantage.
My schedule, right? Sure.
Like that would be.
I know UGA still is favored, but let's see. The game is it's in Sanford Stadium down at UGA.
Dang it! Like, oh man, I think that could actually be the difference maker. Like, because if Kentucky had home field advantage this year when they're playing that good, that place would be rocking. Like, absolutely. And I mean, Georgia even admitted it. The stadium at Auburn messed with them. So you have to think that opponents are looking at that going like, oh, we can be loud too. So, man alive. All right. Matt, don't go anywhere. I like that. We're going to Sweet Baby Davis. It's at Georgia. Sweet Baby Davis. I've never heard of that nickname. I like that. Sweet Baby Davis. My gosh. Y'all that are just tuning in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. All right. Well, I'm not seeing a whole lot of questions.
We got another one from Chris. We can answer this one real quick. Florida is number 99 in offensive efficiency. Vandy is 101 in defensive efficiency. Which one gets exposed this week in the swamp? Remember, Florida is missing 5 starters, including 2 on the O-line, and Trevor Etienne. Is that just...
Yeah, that's
short for his name.
Yes. You said it
Gotcha.
right. Don't worry. There's no DJ
Gotcha.
Uwagaleles here.
Yeah, I was wondering. I said he's capitalized all 3 letters, but okay. Anyway, who gets
Okay.
exposed?
So I
You
think
want to
if
go first?
I mean, do you have a comment? I could just do mine a little longer.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay. So I already kind of thought this game would be close, regardless of the injuries, just because Vanderbilt beat Florida last year, and I feel like once you get over that hump with an opponent, you don't fear them anymore, and it's just like, yeah, we can hang with anybody. Vanderbilt beat Tennessee all those years ago, and after that, it was just like that was a trap game for the Vols because Vanderbilt just didn't care anymore, and they're like, yeah, we can hang with these guys, we can beat these guys. Now it's kind of tipped back over to Tennessee's side a little more recently, but. They beat Anthony Richardson at Florida. You have to think about that. So
Yeah.
And now, which no disrespect to Graham Mertz, he's playing really well. He's found a system that works for him. But at the end of the day, without those 2 offensive linemen, and especially without ETN, I think that offense is in for a rude wake-up call, like an absolute slugfest. This will be I think it'll be like a 13-10 type game.
Just a bunch of defense here, huh?
Just a bunch of defense, and I think it'll be Vanderbilt that kicks the game-winning field goal. Your thoughts on it?
I'm going to go the other way, just for argument's sake, because I really don't know.
Okay.
I mean, this would be a coin flip to me, and the only reason I'm going to lean towards Florida is they probably got some young, unproven, inexperienced guys who really want to step up and prove themselves, especially after last week's result there against Kentucky. They're going to want to bounce back. They're going to want to score more than 14 points. Not saying it's going to happen, but I'm going to lean towards like they want to do better. They're going to fix stuff on film. They're going to get some guys in there young and hungry, and they're playing in the swamp. So, like you said, Vanderbilt also beat them last year. They want some revenge for that. I'll just lean on that revenge factor and saying like we also want to right the ship after that terrible performance against Kentucky.
And let me ask you this: is there like ever an SEC team that takes Vanderbilt seriously post James Franklin?
I'll group another school in there. I think not only did they not take Vanderbilt seriously, but also Missouri. Both of those schools are just kind of like afterthoughts. And I think that goes for Missouri, the entire country, right? I mean, it's not just people in the SEC. Everybody else feels the same way too,
Right.
I don't know.
Missouri was good with the with Gary Pinkel when he was in town, if you remember those days.
Yes, I do.
And he actually got them to the SEC championship game in his second and third years at the helm. They just really haven't looked the same since. So watching the Ole Miss Tulane game, I was thinking it in my head, but then someone else tweeted it, and I was like, "Yep, everyone agrees." Can we trade Tulane for Missouri, please? They're just playing better ball down there.
Well, Missouri's ranked now, and Drinkowitz has some good recruits coming in. I mean, it's kind of like Vanderbilt. They're always going to have some recruits that surprise people and some teams that are better than they should be, but do they have the staying power? And those are the 2 things those 2 schools haven't quite proven just yet, I don't think.
Yeah, and I think like with the right coach, because clearly James Franklin proved that you could win at Vanderbilt. But
true.
I really don't know what Vanderbilt's trying to go for anymore, because it's like, oh, we're a defensive powerhouse. Look at all the defensive coaches we've had over the years, but they don't play good defense. So usually, if you've got like a defensive mind in the building and that unit happens to suck, then it's time to swing the other way and just lean into something else. But that's not really working either. So I don't know what Vanderbilt thinks they are. Like, are they rebuilding? Is this just how it is? Like, I don't know. Like, if they beat Florida, they'll definitely get some more. Some more respect. But Chris truly loves his team, and it's a good thing for Chris. I think Vandy pulls out a win. I mean, yeah, I agree. Like, I think between the 2, give me AJ Swan over Graham Mertz right now, especially with the banged up O-line. If those of you that are wondering, I'm trying to find the ad for Icy Breeze, but it's not popping up. Oh boy, what else? We got anything else?
Yeah, it looks like we got at least one other question about a different game. So what's your take on Oregon State and DJ Ukulele, as I like to say?
Josh,
you want to start there?
Great question. Yeah, Oregon State's my dark horse for the Pac-12. I was kind of waiting to see how they did with Washington State, and they beat them. hold on, that's a great question. I'm gonna pull up DJ stats real quick. The thing with DJ Ugalele is, and I've said it before, we've always known that he had the talent. Like I could see it when he was at Clemson, that one game where he took over for Trevor Lawrence when they beat Notre Dame. He looked phenomenal, and he was just like, yeah, this is the next guy. This is the dude for Dabo, the next great quarterback in the Clemson quarterback legacy. And I don't know what went wrong. Like, it's just, as soon as the spotlight was on him, nothing clicked anymore. And it's like the pressure of being the guy got to him, and he was playing in a wonky system. It only got, like, I don't know, it got worse when, like, Justin Ross and all those other big name receivers went to the NFL. But like with him going to Oregon State, there was kind of this expectation that, okay, well, this is a system better built for him. He might actually make the leap that we expected to see at Clemson. And, sure enough, that's what we're getting. He's at 1,032 yards right now, 8 touchdowns, does have 4 interceptions, but he's got a quarterback rating of 80.1. That's best for 19th in the country. So, he's doing well. Oregon State sits at 4-1, but they do have I better watch myself. I better not be peddling falsehoods. Yeah. Did they lose to Washington State? I thought they won.
No, they lost.
Washington State, you idiots, ruining my take. I was right. Okay.
38.
I knew it. I knew it wasn't great. Nah, they lost. They did lose. Oh, but they beat Utah.
Yeah, they did just beat Utah.
They beat Utah, though. That's what I was thinking of. So
the reason that was hard to remember is that was the Thursday night
and that was
Friday night game last week. Yeah.
Oh, you're totally right. You're totally right. That's the one where they get lost in the shuffle. Thursday night games are weird, man. I like it.
They are.
That's an NFL thing. Can we keep that for the NFL? There's a hot take for you. But I mean, they're 3 points. Like, they had it like in the fourth quarter. They almost pulled the comeback of the ages, but 3 points shy, and they didn't get punished too bad for it in the polls, which I think was right. They currently sit at number 15. And of course, after that huge win over Utah, the 2-time defending Pac-12 champ, I think they're on the right trajectory, even with that Washington State loss. So we'll see, Josh. Their next opponent is California. They're about as mediocre as a new M. Night Shyamalan movie. So, they should win that one. UCLA could be tough. Arizona could be tricky. Colorado could be, tricky. Really, the next 2 games they have to worry about is Washington and Oregon. And they play those guys back to back at the end of the year. But, 9-3, that's a great season for, that'd be a great season for Oregon State. Did we just lose the video on Facebook?
I'm trying to check that out now. It just says...
No, we didn't. Okay, we got it. We're back.
Okay.
Cool. All right. But yeah, that's my take on Oregon State and DJU. I don't know if you have anything else to add to that. I know I kind of windbagged a lot there. So
well, what was the question specifically? I kind of forget. What's your take on it?
Just
Oregon State?
A take on Oregon State and DJ Ugalele.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm leaning toward Cam Ward and Washington State being a little bit better of a sleeper pick at this point, obviously, because they beat them. But obviously,
that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Cam Ward's just an amazing player. And I mean, this is my prediction before the season started, was that Pac-12 would beat themselves up too much to even make the playoff. They have a lot of good teams, but the problem with that is you got a 2-loss champion, and that's not going to do you any favors with how everything's looking so far this year. So, I don't know if anybody comes out unscathed. So if that's the case, Oregon State's still in it, right? I mean, if they've only got 1 loss going in deep in the season, and other people have got 1 loss and they can somehow end up on top, I think they're good. But yeah, I mean, I'll lean on your take with DJ, because you've probably watched him a little bit more than I have. So I won't lie to anybody and tell you I've watched a lot of game film on him. I just haven't. So
I feel like I haven't had a choice but to watch DJ, because, at Clemson, especially, started with Deshaun Watson and that run of quarterbacks they had. The spotlight was always like, oh, who's next? Who's the big guy? Because, Dabo's pulling in 5-star after 5-star. So, of course, when DJ took over, all the cameras were turned on to him. So it's like, well, I guess we're following another player that I am unwillingly following. Like I am with Travis Hunter and Shador Sanders this year. But you know what? I don't care.
Right.
They're good. So, all right. Well, that'll do it. Unless we have like another last minute. Anything else? Going once. Going twice. Sold. To your mom.
We'll move on.
Okay. We're gonna move on now to our pick six. Just a quick little recap of the week that was week 5, sponsored by our friends over at Icy Breeze. Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, still muted, Matt. Why is yours not unmuting itself every time?
This is what happens when Colin goes away. Like, Colin, I hope you enjoy your off time, buddy. But as soon as you come back, we're not letting you go ever again.
I would try and
producer
help you out, but apparently when you mute yourself, then I can adjust you.
I'm not doing it though. The video's doing it. And then the thing's like, screw him. Let's just leave it muted. All right. Our pick 6, which is kind of our recap and things that stood out to us. There was a lot of good games last week. Dom, I'll let you go first. What do you got for us, brother?
We're going to talk about the Notre Dame Duke game to start with, because I am here locally in Durham, and we had a decent look here. I would say it lived up to the hype as far as, having game day there and
Sure.
being in an atmosphere where, Duke's first sold out crowd in what seems like forever. I can tell you locally here in Durham, no one cares about Duke football. NC State is kind of the premier college football team in the Triangle. UNC is certainly way behind that, but they are number 2, and Duke is a distant third even after that, mainly because they just don't have a whole lot of alumni, right? Very small private school.
Sure.
I don't think I even know Duke alum. So this game lived up to the hype because it brought a bunch of people to Duke. It brought a bunch of people to town. It brought a lot of excitement. The game was close with a great finish. But I would say that, just like we were talking about before the show, it wasn't like a fireworks scoring back and forth kind of affair, but I do think you saw both teams show quality play. Not anything outstanding, but enough quality play to, be in that conversation as far as top 25 teams without a doubt, because I did doubt that Duke was a top 25 team before this game. I know we picked them for the upset special, and we looked pretty good in that pick for a while, but they didn't quite pull it out. And of course, Leonard gets hurt at the very, very end of that game, which is a huge downer for Duke as they try and continue on towards the ACC championship. But, Sam Hartman is just that dude, I guess. Obviously with that loss to Ohio State, but phenomenal leadership quality and the guts to win the game there at the end. And then obviously sticking around and making sure Leonard was okay after the fact too. Pretty stand-up guy, So I think it lived up to the hype with the storylines and the fact of the way it finished.
I was oh man, hold on a second, let me get some here. I was actually let down by this game. First of all, our upset pick of the week didn't happen. So that was a huge letdown.
True.
But I don't know. I guess I kind of expected more from both quarterbacks because Sam Hartman's good, like you're saying, but Riley Leonard every bit as good as Sam Hartman. The dude's sharp, he's accurate. He's been in the system for a while, so he knows his way around. I don't know, just 21-14. Sure, that's a very basketball school like score. Now, if it was 21-14 Duke, I'd probably be like, "Oh man, this game had all the points, baby," because that's about as much as I expect. That's about as much as I expect Duke to make. Also, they have a good defense. Mike Elko knows what he's doing with all his schemes and stuff. But I don't know. It didn't live up to the hype for me personally. But if you think otherwise, then you would know better because you live in the area and everything. I'll defer to you, good sir. But I was hoping for a more 27-24 type game, I guess. Also for Duke to win, but
right.
All right. Well, nice. I also watched football. I was, however, unfortunately watching Auburn versus Georgia with my in-laws in town, so I couldn't curse at the screen. But I didn't really have anything to curse at because Auburn actually looked good for a second. It's a weird feeling, honestly. It's like if you mixed a cranberry alcoholic beverage with cucumber lime Gatorade and just got like the worst flavor of all time. I don't know what to think about it. The defense was giving Georgia absolute hell in this game, and if Jalen Simpson didn't get injured, I mean, they might have won the thing outright. I'm telling you. Um, it was just that miserable for the Bulldogs, and it didn't go Auburn's way. Obviously, Brock Bowers suddenly remembered, oh, that's right, I'm a top 5 draft prospect at the last second.
Yeah.
But 27-20 versus the defending national champions. You're in a rebuild year when, like, the previous year, you couldn't even stop a nosebleed versus Texas A&M when you couldn't even score a touchdown. We haven't had like an offensive touchdown at Kyle Field since 2019. So I was expecting to get killed in this game, but Auburn just kind of came out on the ball. Georgia hasn't allowed over 100 yards in rushing until this game, and Auburn had it wrapped up in the first half, basically. Hugh Freeze got in his own way a couple times. Like, he tried to go for it on 4th and 1 instead of taking a field goal near the end of the half. It would have been like a something like a 17-14 type game or something like that, but it would have been a lead, right? And looking back right now, yeah, thank you, Chris. Glad to know that you also like to watch Auburn football.
Big fan,
Maybe?
big fan.
Yeah. But no, they looked good, and it was different from what I was expecting, which is like usually Georgia dog walks us in like the third quarter, 55-13 type blowouts. But everything I watched was basically just saying the same thing. Auburn's coming back. It's going to be just fine. It's not going to be this year, but just give it a little while. Give Hugh Freeze time to get his guys in the building. As soon as we get a passing game going, this team's going to start competing for the West again. So it was very encouraging. That was my takeaway from it. On the flip side of that, I wonder, is this because Auburn is just that good? Or is this because Georgia's just that bad? And, I think both can be true. Georgia just have more talent.
Right.
But if this is like the best that Georgia's got to offer this year, like if Brock Bowers gets a torn ACL or something, God forbid, Georgia season's over. They've got nothing. They have no answer on offense. So
yeah, I could see that.
Brock Bowers goes, it 3-peat. Yeah, right. It's just not going to happen because Mike Bobo and South Carolina and Auburn fans have had the privilege of watching Mike Bobo coach their team before, so we can tell you this firsthand. He likes to do a lot of stuff, not so much in the shotgun, but like kind of like, what's it called? When the quarterback's like right up there. Not that one, but the one before that, where the quarterback's like right underneath the center, taking the ball. Not RPO. I don't know.
Like a pistol formation? Is that kind of
a pistol? No, it's like when the quarterback starts at the line of scrimmage and then he takes the ball and turns around and either hands it off or throw. I don't know. It's kind of an old-fashioned one. Like, people are going to be like, RPO. Gotcha. No, RPO is when you're still in the back. It'll probably pop up again. It was a Mike Bobo offense. They did it a ton. But he runs a lot of old school stuff. Like Bobo just hasn't.
Offense.
Yeah. And it's fine when you have, like, all the 5 stars in the world to help you, like, make it look good. It's basically what Todd Monken ran, but with a couple more wrinkles here and there in the run game. Mike Bobo just does not look good for Georgia's offense, and I'm unimpressed. Like, I can't believe Kirby won a second national title, has to replace like his starting quarterback, has to replace basically everybody on the defense, has to replace that kid that played on the offensive line that was really good, whose name escapes me right now. He lost all his running backs. I can't believe he sat there and was like, who can I bring in to fix to make Carson Beck who we thought he was going to be when we recruited him and right the ship. Bingo, I got it. Mike freaking Bobo, who's been fired from the last 3 jobs that he's had because the offense stinks. So I don't know. We'll see. Auburn's on the rise. Georgia's on the decline. And if Brock Bowers goes down, just vote it in. That's the season for the Bulldogs. So that was my take on it. Overall, though, a good game. So,
yeah, definitely.
Yep. That was a lot of words. What else you got, Dominic?
Let's see. My second pick 6 has Alabama figured it out. Because there was a lot of question marks about. No, I don't know. I think they're certainly looking better than they had looked. So I don't know if they fully figured it out, but it's a whole lot better than they did. Could they be hitting their stride, at the right time? I guess is the question that I would have here at this point. And I think the quarterback play has gotten a little bit better. I don't think you've got as good of a true passer as you have in the past with the Tide, but you maybe have more of a runner, a better run offense with the quarterback position there. So I don't know. What do you think about Bama?
Well,
you see probably more than I do on them.
Well,
we got here.
I hate to say it, but yeah, you're right. Alabama does look kind of like the old school Bama that we're used to seeing. Again, it all just kind of depends on Jalen Milroe. The kid's had some pretty good plays, like some good scrambling plays. He's gonna have to go back to his. There goes my co-host. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Answering Dominic's question though, Jalen Milroe is the most important player in the country at this point, probably because as he goes, the Crimson Tide's going to go. The defense has always played lights out. They've got the guys Kool-Aid McKinstry, Dallas Turner on the line. But I guess I have to see them beat some stronger competition that's not named Ole Miss, because the problem with Ole Miss, and it's been the problem every time that they're ranked or competitive, quote unquote competitive or whatever. The problem with Ole Miss is it's all ball but no defense. So Lane Kiffin knows how to sling it around. He knows how to develop the quarterbacks. He knows how to put points up on the board. At the end of the day, though, they can't stop a nosebleed. And you would think with like Pete Golding, that guy going through the Alabama coaching clinic that Nick Saban's got down there. I thought for sure that was going to fix everything, but lo and behold, here we are, and it's still the same old Ole Miss. Well, there's Dominic.
I don't know what happened.
Maybe
I thought we all lost it, but hopefully you stayed on for the show.
Yeah, I did. I was just telling the good people. Jalen Milroe might be the most important player in the country because as he goes, Alabama's going to go. And I just need to see him play some better competition than Ole Miss because Ole Miss is all offense and no defense. So that was basically my take, but we'll certainly find out. I think when Alabama plays LSU in what will most likely be the game for the SEC West, I think that'll tell us a lot about where Nick Saban's got this Crimson Tide team. So we'll see. Which
I'm just going to agree with everything you just said because I didn't hear any of it.
Well, that's unfortunate because I just took the fattest crap on App State while you were reconnecting. So
this is what happens, man. Of course, it's just you and I trying to run this thing, and my internet is, I don't know why, the highlight film I was running, no issues, was running just fine. All of a sudden I look back over and everything's just black.
Okay. Come on, Elon. Figure it out.
So we're running off the work phone Wi-Fi hotspot. So thank you, work, for paying for this so that I can use it for tonight. Oh man, yes. So do you want me to get into my
Chris,
last
I am
one,
loving,
or do you want to go in this one?
Well, I just finished up explaining or answering yours, but I mean, if you want to go for it, I'll just do two in a row after you. So
there you go.
What else you got?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, it's actually
Yeah, go ahead.
along the same lines as Bama's is Kentucky for real, and I think we kind of had some questions about that earlier. Um, their run game seems to be for real. I don't know if they're well rounded enough everywhere else. I mean, I think you got to look at the quarterback position. Oh God, going blank on his name. The transfer from NC State who went up to
Devin Leary.
Kentucky. Devin Leary. I think you've
Yeah.
got to question whether him and his wide receivers are going to be as nearly as successful as the run game has been, because if they can round it all the way out, they could certainly be for real. They've kind of been that. Could they be something more here the last several years, right?
Right.
Devin Leary was supposed to be this like huge savior that was going to come in and be this, NFL hopeful who's going to run this Kentucky offense. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's been him so much. Obviously, the name everyone's talking about right now is Ray Davis, and obviously so after the game he had last week. So we've got to see if the rest of the offense could put it together before I say that they are for real. But if they win this weekend, I think you put your stamp of approval on it.
Yeah, and I mean they've got, no pun intended, they've got some cats there to hang with Georgia. Maxwell Hairston, their defensive back, leads the team in tackles with 33, also leads the team in interceptions with 3. So 33 and 3 on that mark. Ray Davis, only 5 games in, and I know that most of these stats are because of that monster game again, where he basically just looked at Florida and said, "You know what? Screw you," and went hog wild.
And
but
you.
he's about 6 yards shy of 600. I think he should have no problem getting that. I think you're welcome, Kentucky. On behalf of Auburn, we showed you that you can run the ball, and you've got the dog to do it. So, well, the Wildcat to do it, I guess. But Devin Leary hasn't been, what we thought he would be. 10 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, but he is at over 1,000 passing yards. He had a lot of draft hype at North Carolina State. Is like, maybe this is a solid 2nd, 3rd round pick. He goes to Kentucky to maybe do for his stock what Will Levis did, playing under Liam Cohen. But I don't know. I can't really I don't want to say it's a scheme fit, because by all rights, it should actually be working out perfectly fine for him. I guess it's just taking longer than expected for him to get on the same page as his receivers. But again, with Ray Davis, there's nothing really to worry about. Dude's a phenomenal running back. And if they can get to where Auburn was in the first quarter versus Kentucky, which was at over 100 yards rushing, it's going to be a nightmare for Georgia again. But this time, I think Mark Stoops, who is one of the more underrated defensive minds in the conference, I think he'll have a better game plan than Ron Roberts did to contain Brock Bowers. And that's why I think Kentucky could potentially pull the upset. And if they do that, they didn't quite get the SEC wrapped up yet. They would have to beat Tennessee. But, if they beat Georgia, the door's wide open. So anything could happen after that. So, but yeah, that's good. But for now, though, I think I do think they're at least in the conversation for top 3, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, good job, Kentucky. You finally learned how to play football. It only took long enough. This is why when people are like, who's the most important coach in America, or who's the best coach in America, my answer is always going to be Mark Stoops. Like, I know Saban's got the championship rings, Kirby Smart's got the championship rings, Ryan Day's got the recruit. I know, but like, you can't tell me that there's another coach out there that can do what Mark Stoops has done for Kentucky. Like, it doesn't happen. And yet he found a way to do it. So that's why Kentucky, if you're listening to this, if one of those 6 listeners is a booster for the Wildcats, pay the man $1 billion a year. Do not let him leave.
Yeah.
So,
and what's up with all the basketball schools being good in football this year? What the hell's happening? That's not typical at all.
It started with the football schools suddenly being good at basketball.
That's true. That's true. It did go that way first. That's a good point.
And so the basketball schools were like, all right, well, you know what? Up yours. We're going to play football now. So, Yeah. Fun fact. Did you know Michael Penix Jr. actually played for Indiana before he went to Washington?
I did know that.
I keep forgetting that because, like, I'll see a picture of him in his Indiana uniform. I'm like, oh yeah, he played football there. That's right.
He was a Big Ten guy. Yeah.
So, That's really weird. I can't picture it now. But speaking of, that's actually a good segue into my next pick six topic. Watching last Saturday, all the games that happened, being an SEC guy, I managed to catch the Ole Miss LSU game in which Ole Miss won. More on that in a second. This is the most entertaining year for the SEC because everything is just so wide open. I can't remember the last time there wasn't a clear-cut favorite to win the West. Like 2014, most recent in my mind because, you had Mississippi State with Dak Prescott. They were number 1 in the country. Auburn and Ole Miss were at number 3 and 4. Alabama was at 5, and Ole Miss had already beaten them. So, they got over that hump. Arkansas was actually playing pretty good under Brett Bielema that year. LSU still had the Les Miles coaching staff there, but they were doing LSU things. Johnny Manziel at Texas A&M, like it was loaded from top to bottom. This year, it just feels like the opposite. It's because nobody's super loaded with talent that it's all on an equal level. And, which some teams are going to be better than others because, LSU's got Jaden Daniels and that defense. Alabama's got Kool-Aid McKinstry and, Jalen Milroe. Ole Miss has Jackson Dart and Trey Harris, that absolute stud of a wide receiver. There's some cats here and there, but no one is like head and shoulders above the other. And I'm super pumped because it's just going to make for a crazy SEC race. It's going to make for a very entertaining SEC championship game, maybe. Yeah. Well, actually, no, I still think that because Georgia doesn't look as dominant as they did a year ago. So, who really knows? So, there is a scenario here where Ole Miss could win the West. Like they didn't beat Alabama, but LSU's favored to win the West after that. But they did beat LSU. Well, if LSU beats Alabama, and then if Alabama drops another game to Auburn, who always plays them well at the end of the year, Ole Miss goes to the SEC championship game to get blown out by Georgia. What's going to happen? I don't really know, and I love it like that. The West is wide open, people. It's the Wild West this year. So, I don't know. I'm super pumped. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Give me Ole Miss versus Kentucky in the championship game.
There you go.
Oh,
I like
man.
The confidence.
Well, that's just called me being stupid. But you know what? Anything's possible this year, baby. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Speaking of Notre Dame and Duke, which we were earlier, but not a second ago, so that was a bad segue. The only other pick six I have is going back to Durham for a second, because I did watch a little bit of that game. This Irish team is a fraud, dude. This ain't it. I was like, okay, you know what? Ohio State, they got some cats, they got some draft picks. They're fine. I can whatever. After watching them do the same thing against Duke, I was like, this is not going to go their way at all because they still have to play USC at some point. Holy cow! Good luck trying to keep up with Caleb frickin' Williams. It's just not happening for Notre Dame this year. I was hopeful for them because their debacle for years has been we don't have a quarterback on Brady Quinn levels of good. Sam Hartman is, I think, the answer that they needed. Right, he was the missing piece. Yeah. But because Marcus Freeman is still in the building, he continuously finds ways to make Notre Dame's playoff odds even longer, and they're already long to begin with. So sorry, Irish fans, if you're out there. But
they shouldn't be. Their odds should not be long because they put together their own schedule every year, which is usually pretty dang good. So it's just they don't take advantage of it. I don't know why.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is they know they don't play a conference championship game, so they've got to get some big opponents in there and hopefully squeak past them or whatever. But you turn around, you struggled. Well, you shoot yourself in the foot versus Ohio State and let them win. Ohio State didn't win that game. Notre Dame had their number all night, but that's a different podcast. Why Ohio State's a fraud too. And then now Duke, you're gonna let them play backyard brawl with you until the final minutes. And I think it took Riley Leonard getting injured for Notre Dame to finally win this game. And no disrespect to Riley Leonard, he's a good quarterback, but this just ain't it. This just
No.
isn't the Notre Dame team that we were hoping for. And I hate it for Sam Hartman because they're going to waste this kid's final year of eligibility. And he's a phenomenal talent. So
Right.
that's what I got. That's what we've got for the pick six, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all in the comments, just let us know if there's anything we missed. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you could be so kind. We're gonna keep things super quick for y'all because we know y'all on the East Coast have jobs to get to in the morning, but we appreciate you guys being here. But for now, we're
Yes,
gonna
we
move on
do.
to lit. Shh, not us, Dominic. This is all we do. Remember, they
That's
have to
true.
think that
That's
we're
true.
full-time professional bloggers. Please
We
buy
are.
the stuff that we advertise. We have family to feed.
It's true. We do.
But we're going to go now to those of you that are regulars and know the next part of the show. We're going to the game balls presented by our friends over at Dano Seasoning.
Dano Seasoning, food's favorite flavor.
Yum, yum, get you some.
I'm Joe Burrito, your favorite burrito. Whoa, whoa.
Joe, we
Hey.
all know you're the best.
What?
But you can always do better.
What you got?
Try the new Dano's Hot Chipotle.
Hey. Ooh, that's spicy. Yum, yum.
Yum, yum, get you some.
That is such a creepy commercial. I can't get over it every time. Every
It
time.
is, but it also makes me want a burrito with seasoning put on it. I have the Chipotle here. I have the thing at the bottom here that you can use the promo code Dawgos for. I have all three. It's the original is the green one, the red one is the spicy, and the maroonish one is the Chipotle. And man, I can't go wrong. I've been using them all.
You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I've got the hot. This has been my hot take for years. All of my friends have roasted me on it. I don't care. I will die on this hill. Chipotle, the restaurant, it sucks. It's mid.
Agreed.
I get more satisfaction out of a Taco Bell burrito than I do Chipotle. So there you go. Crucify me, people. I don't care. You can't hurt me. I'm an Auburn fan. Okay, so
I've already
I was
experienced the heartache.
That's right. You can't hurt me anymore, Mr. Bond. I just made that quote up. That's not from the movies. All right. We were just talking about Notre Dame and Duke. I think your first game ball, Dom, is actually related to the game. So I'll let you go on ahead and start kick us off.
Yes. My first game ball has nothing to do with the on-field performance. As we've talked about, Sam Hartman didn't really put together anything amazing. Didn't even throw for a touchdown, right? 222 yardage-wise and everything.
Right.
But my game ball is going to him for just his leadership quality and the kind of person he is. Of course, he not only does the post-game interview and mentions the fact that he hopes Riley Leonard's okay, but then he literally goes over after people are trying to rush out of there, and he goes over to the tent and waits for Leonard to come out to make sure he's okay, and has a little conversation with him. I think he obviously both of them earned each other's respect in that regard. Probably during the game, obviously, but even more so afterward. And so I'm going to give a game ball to somebody who puts themselves out there like that. I mean, some people are probably going to say did it for social media and the notoriety. I don't think that's how it is. Everything I've seen from this guy, clip wise, how he's kind of that leadership quality to him. I'm very impressed with Sam Hartman. I didn't really know what he'd do. Coming from Wake Forest, it's just not a football power. He's going to come to a traditional football school and be the number one guy after obviously having some health issues early too. It was kind of like, what's he going to provide? Well, the one thing that's undoubted that he provides is just being a quality person. He's got that like Tim Tebow like effect that Florida had, right? You just got a leader in the locker room. So game ball goes to Sam Hartman just for that aspect of him as a person, not necessarily even attached to the on-field stuff that went on Saturday.
See, I love that take, but I hate it because that was actually going to be one of my game balls, and then you stole it. So, but yeah, I agree. No, you're fine. You're fine. I got a backup, but I agree. Sam Hartman. Again, like I said, Notre Dame's going to waste this kid's season, and I hate it. He's such a good dude. Looks like Jesus and acts like Jesus. So there you go, folks. You got to love guys that are locker room guys, even for the opponent's locker room. Those are the kids that'll make it far in the NFL. So good job, Sam.
Absolutely.
Since you stole that one from me, the other one that I've got is it's a I don't know if you watched the Colorado versus USC game last week. It was an absolute crap show in the first half. It looked like it was going to be a Trojan runaway, but then because Alex Grinch can't stop a nosebleed to save his life, Colorado mounted the comeback of all comebacks, baby. It was so good. I was like, let's go. I'm here for this. Let's go, Dion. They lost ultimately by like 3 points. It came down to a field goal, but it was like a 99-point game or something like that. Insane second half. Shador Sanders was surgical. He was sharp. No Travis Hunter, unfortunately, but you know what? They didn't need him because there's another wideout on the field. Yes, Travis Hunter's a wideout, people. He's listed as like a wideout / cornerback. I don't really know anymore, but he's just a good player. But they didn't need him at wideout last week because the Pac-12 Freshman of the Week has suddenly got the attention of, no doubt, not just the college football world, but early draft analysts. Hold on, let me make sure I'm saying this right. Omarion Miller, 7 receptions, almost 200 yards. I think he was 4 short. So 196 yards, 1 touchdown. This kid can play. And I mean, he was like going up against like veterans at USC under an Alex Grinch defense, which, you know, Grinch had some good defenses at Ohio State and all that. So I get why he was hired, but they were like, hey, we need you to go out there and be the best freaking player on the field. And he said, okay, like this is a freshman putting up senior numbers. So I just had to give him a shout out. We're watching you now, kid. You keep up the good work. You're going to go high on several people's draft boards. So hopefully,
great pick, man.
Thank you. Hopefully when Travis Hunter comes back, they can put him on the defensive side more because this kid's able to keep it up. So that was my other game ball. What else you got for me?
Well, first of all, I clicked into him once you were talking about him, and he's from Louisiana. You tell me how many kids from Louisiana are coming up to Colorado without Dion being there.
Hey, so, you know what? That makes sense. You know why? Why? He's got that sweet Southern speed, baby. Yeah.
He does. He must. If he's from Louisiana, they know how to teach him down there.
And I agree with you. How many players from the South? How many players in general are going to go to Colorado unless Dion's there? So it's a great point. Good job, Dion.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Changing the game. Well, speaking of quarterbacks from my previous pick, we have another true freshman, just like Miller there at Colorado, a kid named Jalen Rayner for Arkansas State. Last week,
tell me about him.
He's from Kernersville, North Carolina, so that's why I got to attach myself. He's kind of like a local product to where I'm at. He goes off for 383 yards, 6 touchdowns. Now,
wow.
He played the UMass. Yeah, it did play the UMass Minutemen. Okay, so
you know what UMass stands for? Ass. Anyways, continue. I had to make that joke. Sorry, that's Jake Crane's. I can't take credit for it. But anyways, go on.
Oh, okay. That's still good though. It does make sense.
Yeah.
So, Arkansas State had almost famously now. You see the Bush Jones clip where he's just like down and like crying on the field as they got just demolished by Oklahoma in their first game. I think I said Ohio State on my podcast yesterday. So, whoops.
How dare you? Do you even watch ball?
No, I don't know.
Try turning on the TV, Dominic.
They're like the same team, whatever. No, but, Oklahoma dismantled Arkansas State and, seemingly ruined their whole hopes for a good season. And this kid may have just started to turn it around. It's not going to be an easy task to take the west side of the Sun Belt, but this kid could be the excitement and the spark that they need to turn around their season in a big way. And so, I've given a game ball to that performance alone. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. It's not easy to score 6 touchdowns through the air and throw for almost 400 yards. So,
and as a local, especially as a freshman.
Exactly. Yeah, he's even more impressive that he's doing it at that point. He does have 1 interception on the year, but that's it.
So. 1 interception, though, to 10 touchdowns.
Yes.
And over 600 yards of the air. This kid's good. Look at us giving freshmen props. Or look at freshmen taking over the podcast. Good job, guys. If I was a freshman, I would be proud. But I'm not. So, but I'm still proud.
What about your last?
That's a good one. I like that one a lot. So I'm giving this one to Ole Miss stormed the field after they beat LSU for some reason. We gotta hit the brakes on field storming, y'all. This is just ridiculous. Unless you're Auburn and you beat Alabama, because we started it. But every security guard, when the storm starts, usually they pull back a little bit and try to protect the players or the coaches, or they just give up. Right? Not this guy. This dude right here. Dude's just out there. He knows he's in a losing battle, but he's going to do his job no matter what. And you know what? If you're a fan that wanted to storm the field, good luck. Because, Thanos is out there, bodying people. You're not getting on his. You might get on the field, but you're not going to get on the field because of him. Like,
no.
I got to appreciate the hardworking blue collar man that says, you know what? It's my job. Dang it. And he's just out there like, swatting people. He did hit this one girl a little too hard, but he wasn't so macho man that he ignored it. He actually went back and like checked on her and everything, made sure she was okay. So, but still I'm watching this. I'm like, you're the only one out there doing this, right? But yeah, that's not going to stop him. So you know what? Good job, dude. Someone out there needs to keep these fans from storming the field. And you know what? It's that guy. So I officially deem him the president of keeping fans off the field because he's the one that seems to want to. So, yeah, that was my other game ball.
Yeah, I love the dirty elbow to the chick. It's just like at that point he realized he wasn't going to be able to reach everybody, and he was just like, "Screw it, bam, right to the chin, sweet chin music, baby."
Heavy metal music just starts playing like "Disrespect Your Surroundings," and he's just like. Going ham. The doom music in the background.
Oh yeah, it's like definitely a mosh pit move. Just throwing elbows, trying to hit anybody who's going by. I love it.
Oh, it's incredible. All right, well, those of you familiar with the show, you know that after our game balls segment, we got to go the opposite direction and throw our penalty flags at things that were stupid or worthy of a penalty flag. Whatever you want to call it. That, those of you that are also familiar with the show would know, is sponsored by our friends over at Bones
What's
Coffee.
the difference between these
What's
two
the special
identical
message for us
cups of coffee? Everything. Everything. Boring basic coffee is leaving you dead inside. Thank the Dark Lord, there's Bones Coffee. Small batch, full-bodied coffee infused with the most mind-melting flavors in the world. Or underworld.
Oh, I've had flavored coffee
before.
before.
I've had coffee before. You haven't had Welcome to the highly caffeinated, slightly wicked, and immortally delicious world of Bones. Our mad coffee scientists have twisted nature to their demented wills.
It's alive!
With frightfully delicious flavors like from dusk till donuts.
It's a taste I can really sink my teeth into.
Mint Invaders.
I don't mean to probe, but how did you make this coffee taste like ice cream?
And Electric Unicorn.
Like eating fruity cereal. Yeah!
At Bones Coffee, we'll try just about every flavor combo out there.
Cannolis, salted pretzels, strawberry cheesecake.
The ones we love are made into small batches, roasted to order, and delivered directly to you. But the others... Rest in peace, Beanfish. We've got over 30 killer concoctions. So French press that link to find your new flavored coffee. There's more to life than pumpkin spice. But yeah, we smashed that pumpkin too. We also have comforting classic coffee if the flavored stuff is too scary. At Bones, our beans are complex and multidimensional.
I have opinions.
Which makes for rich, smooth, jaw-droppingly good Joe. Stop drinking hot bean water and resurrect your caffeine routine. You can Bones at home, Bones at work, or Bones during your commute. Go to bonescoffee.com and check out our thousands of spooktacular 5-star reviews. If committing to one flavor gives you the heebie-jeebies, try our sample packs, a shocking selection of our most hauntingly delicious blends. Or join the coffee club and get new flavors delivered as often as you'd like. It's time to break from boring. Click the link to get yourself a bag of bones today.
Oh, Mike's back muted. What is going on? You're right. It just does whatever it wants tonight. Oh, look, you're back muted again.
It's because I'm trying to cue the next ad for penalty flags and it's doing whatever it wants. So
flag on StreamYard.
Penalty flag on StreamYard. What the freak? Anyways, y'all. I see people are watching. Where's all those? Where's all the feedback, y'all? Talk to us. We want to hear from you, baby. We'll throw it up on the screen. Especially Vandy Chris and his bad opinions. I'm just kidding. All right, we're gonna love you, Chris. Nothing but love. All right, penalty flag sponsored by our friends over at Bones. Make sure you use the promo code DOGBONES when you order. Save 30% off. Dominic, I'll actually go first if you don't mind, since you took the first one.
Yeah,
for Game
absolutely.
Balls.
Yeah.
So, actually, you know what? It makes more sense to let you go first because you got one that ties into the game ball I just handed out at Ole Miss. So you going ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I could start off. So my first one's going to the Ole Miss fans for throwing all the garbage and bottles and cans, whatever they were throwing all over the field. I mean, it seems to happen at least once a year somewhere, right? Like I think it was it Tennessee 1 year too?
The mustard bottle game. Yeah,
that's Kiffin, right? And everything.
Yep. That's where Ole Miss fans got the idea. I watched that game too, dude. Like when that first bottle got thrown, I was like, "Oh, that's cute," and then it just kept coming. I was like, "Oh, these things are getting spicy out here." So
yeah. So obviously, it's just a bad look, right? That's part of it. That's not even the biggest part of it to me. You know how many like people in the media and work for like companies that are dressed well are down there that could be hit by these things who don't have helmets on, who aren't wearing pads, who have a job to do and have to go home later and like don't want to clean beer and liquid and trash of other sorts off of their clothing. Like, come on, guys. Like, I know that it's a little bit. Yeah.
The SEC fined Ole Miss like $75,000, which I'm like, why? But it's not their fault. They didn't. What?
Yeah. But I mean, I will say, you know, didn't they say something too about they could have a flag thrown on them? Because
the refs too, right? The refs had to get involved, and they're like, "All right, listen, you jokers, keep this up. We're gonna penalize you." So you know, I think that's what got it to stop. But let's see. Okay, I think the comment stopped because we're having some trouble with Facebook. So all of our Facebook friends, stand by. We're working to get the stream right back up. So.
I've been going to it and checking it out, and every time I go to view it, we're running just fine on Facebook. So I don't know what is happening.
Weird.
But yeah, I mean, I thought we were good.
We were just saying that, man, we're pretty good at this. Facebook's like, yeah, that's a good flag. It's a great flag. Stop being trash fans, y'all. Stop storming the field. Stop trashing the field. Just stop doing things associated with the field, except watching it.
Boo and do chants and all the normal stuff. Just don't do the stuff that makes you look silly. And I know it's not the family and friends aspect of the game. It's mostly the student section, and they are the rowdiest. But you have to contain the guys and girls that are not so drunk. You need to rein in your friends from like doing the really stupid stuff. Because
you got to think recruits could be there and getting a feel for the environment that they're going to be playing in the next 2 to 3 to 4 years. And they see stuff like that. And, you know, they're going to start thinking like, maybe I don't want to be associated with all these trashy people. Like if this is how you react to the football game, then, you know, what are you going to do when I mess up on the field? You know? So like, you know, if I was Lane Kiffin, I would lay into the student section. Just be like, guys, stop it. Like, why do you think Nick Saban gets on the student section for not staying for the entirety of the Alabama game? It's because that's your extra recruiter right there. So, you know, do better.
Absolutely.
That's a great one. Mine also, speaking of Tennessee, because we referenced the Tennessee game, I'm throwing my first penalty flag at Spencer Rattler.
Nice.
For this reason, okay? Like, Tennessee fans, I get it. They were yelling at him like "F you, Spencer" at the end of the game. This was a big revenge game for the Vols because the Gamecocks ruined their playoff chances last year. And I get it. The fans get involved and they'll yell stuff, but they do that with every player. Like,
Right.
you're not special. If they find a guy to hate on, they'll hate on him. Like Raiders fans were openly calling for Josh McDaniels to get fired in front of the owner last Sunday.
Yes.
Okay, it just happens. It's called being a fanatic, which is what fan is short for.
Yeah.
But Spencer, my guy, my dude, my brother in Christ, you beautiful eyebrowless man. Why would you go and say what you said about? Hold on, I've got the actual quote by him right here.
Nice.
They were asking him about the environment and the post game stuff, what it's like to lose and stuff, and he goes, "Credit to them, they did a great job. It was like their Super Bowl tonight, so congrats to them." No, this wasn't.
No.
Number one, their Super Bowl was against Alabama. That's worth calling it the Super Bowl for them, right? Because they won that game. Number two, you mother frickers stormed the field when you beat Tennessee last year. Was that your Super Bowl? Well, what do you mean this was their Super? Like,
it's a good point.
They didn't even give South Carolina a second thought as soon as that game was over. You know why? Because they expected to beat you, and they did by 26 points or 24 points. So, Spencer, buddy, my guy, my dude, I have been in your corner since day one of this season. Watch it, dude. Like, don't say dumb stuff like that. Come on. This was their Super Bowl. Yeah. Please. Their Super Bowl's coming up. It'll be on the 3rd Saturday of October. So,
Yeah. I also hate that term in general. Do you hate that term, the Super Bowl? It's some team's Super Bowl.
I do.
You realize that the Super Bowl is like 2 weeks after most everything is done. It's a one-off game for a championship.
Yep.
Nobody's playing for a championship in week 4. We hear it every time. Like App State hears, beating UNC would be their Super Bowl. No, the hell it's not. It's not. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. We would like to win it, but only to shut you up. It's not a Super Bowl. We don't get anything for it. It's just the fact that so many teams have to hear that. I just hate that it just is even said or thought about that way. It's just stupid to me. But yes,
and if that was,
you also can't say it when you lose by 26 when you lose by 26 points or whatever.
And you can't say it when last year you acted worse winning that game against Tennessee. Like,
true.
What if this was Tennessee Super Bowl? What was that win for you last year? Like, come on, man. Like, get off my lawn, Spencer. Also, while we're throwing away overused football sayings, like that was their Super Bowl, let's throw the word toolsy in there. This is strictly an NFL draft one. I'm tired of hearing this kid's a toolsy kid. Okay, what does that mean? He's got a toolbox with tools. He got a hammer. Like, come on, stop it. Tell me why. Toolsy. He catches. He runs. Toolsy. I can't stand it. Anyways, moving on. Well, now you did. So
yeah, now I do. Oh man,
that was my. Go ahead.
Throw this out there since we were talking about throwing garbage. Troy brings up the fact that in Palouse out there in Washington State, they throw some snowballs. That's okay.
Yeah, buddy.
Snowball throwing.
That's a good one.
Try not to hit people that are smaller and don't deserve it. But I mean, most of the guys are out there in pads and helmets, so throw away.
It also looks less harmless than the snowballs in like New York or whatever. I don't know if you saw the documentary on, well, it wasn't a documentary, it was a YouTube video about like games where things were thrown at the field. They showed a clip of like Bills fans pelting, I think it was Philadelphia or whatever, with like these huge snowballs. It looked thick. I don't know why the snow just looks thicker up there, but they looked violently heavy. And I was like, that could kill a man. So, it's probably safer out there in Palouse. So, yeah, that's a good one.
Probably.
Y'all keep those comments coming. Let us know what we missed or why we're wrong, or why Ole Miss fans should throw things. I don't know. I don't know if anyone could actually defend that. I'd be impressed if you could. Like, if you could convince me.
Yeah, that's true. Let us know.
Speaking of penalty flags, things getting thrown. What else you got, brother?
Well, my next one or last one leads into our underdog. So I don't know if you want to go before me. Actually, we can.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll go ahead and throw up my second one. I'm sticking with the beefing theme. because, Spencer Rattler threw that shade. Lou Holtz, however, still won't shut up. And whatever. First of all, this is entertaining as all get out. This 90-year-old man and Ryan freaking Day just haven't, I want them both to have a Truth Social account. Not even a Twitter account. I just want them to both be on Truth Social and just beef, comment on each other's stuff, go for the jugular, because that's basically what we're getting now. And it's not as fun when you have to watch it because, Lou Holtz is struggling to get things out there. Ryan Day just looks he looked like this, no joke, in his post-game interview. He was like this. Squirrel and ADHD.
Just jittery.
They need to either rein it in or actually do it well, which is on social media so that we can all take screenshots. But I don't know. Lou Holtz, come on, man. Notre Dame lost. Okay, they lost the game. They fumbled the bag. Well, they didn't actually fumble anything, but they shot themselves in the foot. They lost, okay? Ryan Day, I already got on to him about what he said about, I wonder where Lou Holtz is. Really? You're going to go fight a 90-year-old man in the parking lot? All right, yeah, sure. Yeah, that's really tough of you, Ryan. It's real tough. But you know what, Lou? I can't really blame him because you won't shut the frick up. You lost. Take the L. Remember Jameis Winston eating the W? Okay?
Oh, God.
Here's the L. Eat it. It's over, okay? I don't get it. He came out and he said something yeah, that's fine. I respect Ryan, but Ohio State's still a soft team. Dude, you lost by a touchdown to a soft team. What does that say about Notre Dame?
Yep.
Stop while you're ahead, dude. Honestly. I just can't wait. Go ahead.
I gotta work on my Ryan Day so that you can be Lou Holtz and I can be Ryan Day. And we'll just
I've gone through drive-thrus as Lou Holtz before, man. It's the funniest thing ever.
Oh my God. Did people did they know who? I mean, let's be honest. Young
they
kids
absolutely do not know. I'll pull around and they'll be like, that's a great Daffy Duck. And I'm like, you're wrong. I need to be more educated. But, but yeah. Nothing but love, Lou. That'd be so funny. But yeah, just squash the beef already. Or better yet, you know what? At this point, keep it going. I don't really care anymore. Just fight the entire season through. Ryan Day will be up there. Ohio State's won the whole thing. And then there's Lou Holtz in a broadcast booth and he goes, that was the great championship victory and everything. But Ohio State was very soft doing it the whole time. You know why? They play soft zone defense. And no one's softer than Ohio State right now. And Ryan Day will be down there dude! I don't know. Just either stop it or keep it going. I don't care. Either way, it'll be great. So
that's true. Yeah. I'm all for it.
That was my second one. Also, it's ironic that I'm criticizing Ryan Day for wanting to fight an old man, and now here I am hammering an old man. So I don't know. Penalty flag on me. Anyways, what you got, Dominic?
Oh man. Well, my last one will round up into the old underdog for the week segment, I guess it ends with the underdog of the week. We're going to go into the underdog of the year, but it's having to do with them fumbling the bag, as you said earlier, too. UCF, how do you lose to Baylor when you're up 35-10 within the fourth quarter? I mean, if you're up 35-10 in the first quarter and you end up losing, a lot of stuff can happen. You got one quarter left of football. Just control the clock, slow it down, do the simple stuff easy.
Yep.
They couldn't do it. And it was a great finish. It was a great finish still. But, it shouldn't have been. Should have been a close game. I don't know.
I can explain this whole thing to you.
Okay.
With two words. You ready?
Yeah. Yep.
Gus Malzahn.
How did I know
Gus
you were
Malzahn
going there with that?
Because I had to watch this crap for 7 years, Dominic. And it would happen every time. Auburn would be in the lead. Auburn would be doing everything right. You go back to the 2017 game versus LSU. You go back to the 2013 national title game versus Florida State. Auburn's having their way with these guys, just knocking them all over the field. They could name their score. And then for whatever reason, Gus has this big brain moment of, hey, let's just take our foot off the gas and play it safe and play to not turn the ball over. That's great. But you know what? You can play to not turn the ball over and still lose. You know why? Because you're not playing to win. And as soon as I saw it happen, I was like, I'm actually really not surprised by this. Like, this is typical Gus. This is why we fired him. Like, every time Auburn would get a huge lead, I was never, unless it was against Arkansas. Sorry, George. I really am. But the Golden Boot Pod just catching all the strays tonight. So, but yeah, it's just what Gus does. And he recently got an extension. This was another Gus Malzahn thing. He got an extension for it. They signed him. They extended him by 1 year, and his salary went up by $1 million. And I'm like, for what? Gift wrapping Baylor 26 points in the fourth quarter. I just turned into Mickey Mouse right there when I said for what. But there you go. That's just here. You know what? I've even got the name tag for it. So Mickey Mouse. But yeah, this is just what Gus does. Blow a lead, lose a game he should easily win, get an extension for it. Welcome to the Auburn fan experience, UCF. Buckle up. If you thought that was bad, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah,
so
this is a Baylor team that opened the season losing to Texas State, who doesn't look terrible or anything.
No, TJ Finley's pretty good.
Yeah, where you think Baylor should be and where you should think Texas State should be two different things. They didn't win that one. They didn't look good in this one either. And then UCF just Gus Malzahned it away. So,
yep. And I don't get it because usually when your opposing quarterback only throws one freaking touchdown the entire game, you don't win that game.
Right.
Right? Like I'm looking at the scoring passes right now. It looks like the last field goal that Baylor took to seal the deal was the backbreaker. But before that, there was a 72-yard fumble return by Caden Jenkins with 6 minutes left. That's 10 points right there.
Right.
It scored in the final 5 minutes. So, that touchdown pass from Blake Shapen didn't come till the fourth quarter. It's Gus. That's all I know to tell you. Timmy McClain looked okay in relief of John Reese Plumlee. Over 234 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Johnny Richardson. I'm basically reading Auburn's stats, I feel like. Johnny Richardson, 6 carries, 105 yards, 1 touchdown. Javon Baker, 3 receptions, 113 yards, 1 touchdown. That wins the game. That wins a game. And you blew it. So there you go.
Did you see the McClain play?
Which one?
Sorry, did you the one where I think it was 4th down, and they had to have it to keep the game going and the drive alive to try and win the game. And I think they snapped it at the 15-yard line or their own 20, and he ended up in his own end zone, gets away from a couple players, and chucks this ball downfield. And it's still like a 50-50 ball up in the air. His guy comes away with it, and they pick up the first down by 7 yards.
I didn't see that.
I did.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
But even so, if you get a play like that, you win.
Yes. At this point, I said they're coming back and they're winning this game. And they slowed down a little bit after that, but they still were within that field goal range. And then that field goal was wide and short, and it was never going to go. But could have been one hell of a finish had that kick gone through. I think it was 54 yards he tried. It was a long one. It might have been longer than that. So not an easy kick. I'm not blaming the kicker, but man, that would have been a hell of a finish.
That gives me 2014 Auburn versus Texas A&M vibes. Those of you who don't know, Texas A&M was unranked. Was Johnny Manziel there? No. Yeah, no, he was gone. It was whoever the next guy was, but they were unranked. They already had a couple of losses on the year. Kevin Sutherland's job was in question. Auburn, meanwhile, only had 1 loss. They had just beat number 4 Ole Miss in a top 5 battle at Vaught Hemingway. It was a classic. So, of course, being a home game for Auburn, people are like, yeah, they're going to destroy the Aggies. Texas A&M came in and basically just punched Auburn around the entire first half. And I was watching it with my dad. We were at Buffalo Wild Wings. So special little father-son moment. I was like, oh, man, this is bad, but they're still going to come back and win, right? And Auburn started to come back, they were actually going toe-to-toe with Texas A&M and had a chance to take the lead and win the game. They fumbled the ball at the goal line. Texas A&M recovers. Texas A&M has to punt. Auburn did it again in the final minutes. Got right up to the goal line, fumbled it. and Texas A&M won like 44-41. It was that should have been the first sign for me that this is
Step
not
away
going to
now.
be. Yeah, but that's the vibes I get from that game. But anyways, that does lead us perfectly into our underdog of the year, which is UCF. Man, Dominic, it's not looking good for our underdogs of the year. They dropped one to Kansas State. Now they dropped this one to Baylor. But, here's the deal. Texas may be the favorite right now, but they could still lose to Oklahoma. But Oklahoma doesn't look that good. They could drop a game here or there. Meanwhile, UCF could still beat both Oklahoma and Texas. And with that 2-game lead, Timmy McClain just continues to play out of his mind, averaging over 200 yards a game like he has. And they win the Big 12, and they make the playoff. There you go. That's how the college football dogs underdog of the year still makes it, even with 2 losses.
There you go. I like your sunny outlook on that. And it starts this weekend when they beat Kansas, who's 4-1 and was previously ranked before dropping the game last week. So
and Jalen Daniels is hurt, isn't he?
I've read a lot of things on this, and it's like, there's most are saying, back tightness and everything else, but there's been like a beat writer or somebody close to the program who says, let's stop lying to everyone here that he's hurt worse than back tightness. You don't just stay out this long. You don't do all the things that apparently he's doing in the background. If you have back tightness, he's got some type of actual injury here, and they just don't want to let it be known. So who knows? I'm not that close to the Kansas program or they're known for basketball more than football. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens if he comes back at all this year or if he comes back 100%. But
speedy recovery, hopefully, because he's a good talent. I like watching him at quarterback. So hopefully he comes back sooner rather than later. It's not like last year where he missed. Did he miss the whole year? Was he out the whole year last year, or was it half the year?
I think it was half the year because I think he either early or late, whatever it was, that the Heisman was being talked about with his name attached to it for a little bit. Like a dark horse candidate, obviously, but could he do it?
Oh man, get well soon, buddy. We're rooting for you. I'm a huge Jalen Daniels fan. I know that no one's going to take him seriously in the draft, but I believe so. All right. Who does UCF play next? Well, Kansas, we just discussed. I meant to say our underdog of the week, which is Kentucky versus Georgia. Georgia is currently favored by 14.5, courtesy of our friends over at DraftKings. I just pulled that up. So, like we were saying earlier, Matt, if you're still in the chat, this segment's for you, buddy. So here at College Football Dogs, we do the underdog of the week, where we pick the little guy to win the game, and we just root for him no matter what. We started off the year strong, Dominic. We picked Duke to upset Clemson, and lo and behold, that's what happened. 1-0. The blog was off to a great start. Next couple of games, though, no such luck. I forget who we chose for week 2. I know that Clemson over Florida State was one, and they almost did that one. Couldn't quite get it done.
Did.
We picked Duke over Notre Dame again. Almost again. Week 2 was Tulane over Ole Miss, and that was another big almost.
That's
game.
right.
So
that's true.
If Michael Pratt had played that game, we would have been like 2-3 on the year. But so far we've picked some pretty close ones, and I'm pretty confident about this week's one. We're going with Kentucky over Georgia right here. So. Kentucky, Ray Davis has had what are words? Ray Davis had his breakout game last week against Florida. He's got over 500 yards rushing right now on the season. Dude's a stud. Dude's quick. He's fast. Looks like the real deal. Devin Leary hasn't quite put it all together yet, but I think he'll get there just in time. And if not, that run game and that sneaky good defense that Mark Stoops has should be able to keep him in it with Georgia. And Auburn played Georgia close, but I think the most important thing Auburn did last week, they gave Liam Cohen and Mark Stoops some really good film to watch going into this game. So
great point.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if Stoops can figure out a way to box Brock Bowers in better than Auburn did, this was going to come down to the wire. And you know what? I've not been sold on Georgia all year. They just don't look as dominant as they did in the last 2 years. So let's go with Kentucky. Why not? They're playing good ball right now, and Georgia seems to be going the opposite direction. So you heard it here first. Dominic, do you have a score prediction? I'll let you go first, and then I'll share mine.
Ooh, score prediction. Well, I think what I've been seeing. Let me pull up Georgia's schedule real quick because they've been letting up more points than most Georgia defenses have the past several years. So they allowed 20 to Auburn just this past week. They allowed 21 to UAB. Is there any trash talk when UAB scores more points against Georgia than Auburn does?
Auburn and UAB do not even know of each other. Like,
okay,
I'm pretty sure if they played each other, it would be the first time ever. Like, I don't know. Auburn's got more beef with Samford, honestly, than we do any other. Well, obviously Alabama, but I think Stanford's the next school down there. But completely off topic. Anyways, continue.
Got you. Well, that is an interesting aspect, though. So with them allowing 3 touchdowns to those 2 opponents, and with what Ray Davis has done, and the fact that you could ball control with a good run game and a good offensive line, I'm going to say they score more than those 2 teams did. So I'm going to say Kentucky 28, and with Georgia scoring, they put up almost 50 against UAB. They only put up 27 against Auburn. I'm going to say they scored. I'm going to call Kentucky 28, Georgia 24. I still think it'd be a really close game.
Ye of little faith, why do you doubt? Said Jesus. I can see it being a low scoring game. You know, no matter what happens, I definitely don't think if you're a fan of fireworks, this isn't for you.
No.
This will definitely be a which team wants it more kind of game. Kind of like soft Ohio State and Notre Dame was. I'm going to go the opposite direction, though. I think Auburn showed that you can run the ball versus Georgia, and Ray Davis is a better running back right now than whoever Auburn's got in the starting lineup. And I think as soon as he gets that stride going, and as soon as that offensive line figures out that they can hang with these guys, this game's going to get out of hand real fast for Georgia. And this time, they know exactly how to stop them, which is take away the best weapon, which is Brock Bowers. And since he's a tight end, that shouldn't be too hard to do because he's a big guy. You can see him on the field. He's fast and he can catch pretty much anything. So, you know, that's going to be your hardest part. But that Maxwell kid that's got like 3 interceptions already, if he can just do what Jalen Simpson did last week and just absolutely shadow the living heck out of Jalen Simpson didn't cover. No, he did. Well, sometimes, but if he could just play, stickier than that glue that whole game, this will come down to the wire. Georgia might have the lead, like 21 to 20 going into the 4th. Kentucky puts it all together suddenly for the drive of the century. Ray Davis just hits a couple of like checkdowns from Devin Leary. Devin Leary scrambles around a little bit just to get the job done here and there. And then in the final seconds of the game, with like maybe 22 seconds left, Kentucky lines up at the 50-yard line, and the kicker boots the game winner for Kentucky to run away with the East, 23-21. Georgia gets their first loss, falls out of the college football playoff, and Kentucky enters the driver's seat for the SEC East race, and it's only up from there. So there you have it. Those are our picks. I'm going with Kentucky. Dominic's going with Georgia, but there's only one way to find out if we're right. You'll have to tune in this Saturday to watch the games and tune in next week on Tuesday. As usual, sorry everyone for the delay when we recap everything. But that will do it for us. Thank you all for tuning in.
I do want to say I may have misspoken, but I am taking Kentucky to beat Georgia.
Oh, okay.
I might have misassigned names, but I meant to say Kentucky. I'm thinking Kentucky scores 28, okay. Georgia 24. I might have mixed that up. If I did,
you did. That's why I was
sticking with the favorite. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not questioning you, and I'm not questioning my pick, our pick for the week. So sorry if I misspoke, but yeah, I'm taking Kentucky to win.
It's fine. You're fired. That's all. Get your picks right. Dang it!
You'll never come back.
Just kidding. Awesome. Well, Dominic, my friend, it's always a pleasure to get to do this with you. Talk ball, talk life, and everything. Where can people find you and follow you for more great content and whatnot?
Well, you can follow me and find me and Matt right here on College Football Dogs the blog online. Also, we've got some social media out there. Also on social media for Sunbelt Syndicate. If you are a Sunbelt or G5 fan, follow the Premier League of the G5. How about you, Matt?
Very nice. I like that. Yeah, I didn't like Sunbelt football as much till I started following you guys. So y'all definitely go check him out. You can find me on Twitter at The Barning Man. I've got a bunch of bad takes and bad memes about football. You can also read all my work on collegefootballdawgs.com. And as usual, me and Dominic will be with you right here every Tuesday to recap the week. I make an appearance on the Saturday live show every now and then, looking into the weekend. Bottom line, it's all ball, and that's how we like to keep it here on the podcast. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Y'all keep liking and sharing and subscribing. I'm looking for the credits. That's Dominic Cressetto. I'm your host, Matt Redding. As always, good night. We'll see you guys next time.
College Football Dawgs.